Okay, so I'm trying to do this where there's not that much of a glare, but bear with me. But I was kind of sad when I got this book, not because of what it is, but because I think it may be water damaged. Look at that. So I was kind of like, hey, that's not cool, because the pages feel a little weird. But this is Batman number 37, and I've been talking about Batman pretty consistently because I've liked every issue pretty much, and I feel like not a lot of people like this Batman because they call him Soy Batman because he's marrying Catwoman and he's talking differently and there's not much crime fighting in it, and people don't really like that. But for the most part, it's been kind of fun. If they do this for like 2 or 3 issues, kind of set the framework for the relationship and everything, and then kind of build up to other stuff, then that would be kind of good. Now he did say that either this issue or the next issue is going to be the last one of this story, and then it may have been this one, and then he said the next issue is going to be Detective Batman again. That's what Tom King said. He was telling a fan on Twitter that. So that's kind of good news, for you people that don't really like this stuff. But I just noticed something. I was going to point this out. Look how they drew the depth in the S on Superman's chest. Is that not cool? It's just extra little stuff like that. Now, all in all, though, I hate this cover. I just hate 3D style stuff. It looks cheesy to me, and I don't really like it. It is kind of cool that they went back to the original Batman stuff from like the New 52 style. They took the rebirth off of there, so it's pretty cool. But this one's called Double Date. I know you are just like, oh my God. Hey, look, they got the metal T-shirts out now. I don't want it anymore though because it's like the new done wore off. You should have got it in there earlier. But look at his ironic beard. He's like super into the geek stuff. But so we start out here, and it's superhero theme night at the Gotham County Fair. And you see everybody hanging out. Everybody's got outfits on. They're all dressed up, and people are making out. And he says, "I'm sorry, but it is what it is. All right, it's rules. Superhero night. Got to be a superhero to come on in, and you all ain't superheroes." And then we see them here, and it's like, yeah, they are superheroes. Love the outfits. Why is Lois so stacked all of a sudden? Who decided to draw Lois all stacked up? I'm not mad, but it's like all of a sudden. But then they're talking it over here, and they have an idea, and it's Lois that has the idea, and she says, "It's not as if you don't have costumes, and Batman's like, no. And she says, but well, you have all the stuff here and you could just switch it around. He's you and you're him and all that, and no one knows anything. And Batman's like, no. So then they're talking, and then Catwoman does her thing. She says, what my kind, patient fiance means is that he sees that his kind, patient fiance is tired and hungry, and he'll do what he needs to do to remedy that situation. Isn't that right, darling? And he's like, no. I love it. I love it. But then we get this scene here, and I don't know what's going on with Tom King, but he is like being hyper-sexualized in his comic books here lately. Lois, that's all I got to say, Lois. Is Lois my favorite now? She may be. But they're talking here, and they swapped costumes. At first, I missed it. I don't know why I missed it. But they're talking about swapping costumes. So they actually all swap around, and then when they head back to the fair, where are they at? Here they go. They're all wearing each other's costumes. Isn't that cool? Like, Lois is now Catwoman, Batman's Superman, and Superman is Batman, and he's got the glasses on. And I thought about this for a second. Think about how hard this was for the artist. Because you're thinking, well, he just drew different costumes. No, he's got to draw Superman's face and build in Batman's costume, and he's got to draw Batman in Superman's costume. And you may say, well, that's not hard at all, but look, he's got to draw Lois Lane, completely different now. She's wearing Catwoman's costume. And then this was probably the easiest one because then he just draws Catwoman in a dress, But I was just thinking about that, where's the? I was wanting to find the title page to talk about that. But anyway, they get in, and then they're all talking about stuff, and they're having time at the fair. Hey, Dark Philly, look, it's Lobo, and he's wearing short shorts. I know you're just really excited about that. Look, even his loafers have little spikes on them. Isn't that hilarious? It's hilarious. You know it is. So then we have Etrick and the Demon, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Robin, Raven, all these people. And they're going through the Tunnel of Love. So this is really funny right here because they go through the Tunnel of Love. And there goes Superman and Lois. And they're like, oh, that was nice. Yeah, it was nice. And then there's a pause for a second. And then Batman and Catwoman go through there. And I was like, that is funny right there. So then I'm going to skip a couple pages, but they're at the Batten cage trying to hit stuff. And they're talking about stuff here. And it says, basically what they're talking about is, Superman keeps saying that if I pitched you the ball, Batman, you would not be able to hit it. And he's like, yes, I could. I could hit it. He goes, no, you would never be able to hit it. And he says, I'd throw it right past you. You wouldn't even see it. He goes, you'd be surprised what I'd see. And so I thought that was really funny. And also, Catwoman and Lois keep talking about the matchup. Why the matchup? Why her and Batman, or why her and Batman, and why her and Superman? And so they're talking more about stuff, and they're getting drunk. Like the two women are getting drunk because they ain't doing nothing. The guys are batting, and the girls have nothing to do. So then we get back, and actually, they're doing stuff now. And then I forget what his name is, but the dude's dressed up like him, and he actually, they always have to have something go wrong in these instances because they're superheroes, and a bad guy always has to show up. So he steals one of them's purse, and they're like, oh, and then they just start laughing because one, they're drunk, and two, they're like, dude, you do not even know what you're doing right now. So then Superman pulls a Crocodile Dundee, lines up the shot, and throws it, and then bam, hits him right in the head. So then we're going to skip a couple pages, and there's more talking, and we'll get to that in a minute. But they're still talking about the matchup and why these two are together. And so then pretty much now Catwoman and Lois Lane are friends now because they're just drunk. And so then as they're getting here, as we're winding up this comic book here, it says, it's too bad we didn't get a chance to pitch and hit. And I was like, is that a gay reference? And then he says, yeah, maybe next time. Then they're pausing here. And then he's like, I know a place we're switching clothes. So they swap their costumes back. And then they decide that, now's the time. Now we're going to hit this ball. He says, she said, these boys, they have so many problems. Yeah, that's true. But they also have so many abs, right? Come on. And I was like, that's a little cringy because, just whatever. But then he says he throws the ball to Batman, and what happens? Batman hits it. Ka-choosh! There it goes. Super Friends Part 2. And for all intents and purposes, this is a pretty fun comic. I blew by it pretty fast. Now let's look at the advertisements here. This is what kind of pissed me off a little bit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages of advertisements. Now I like that they're all together, but we don't need 6 advertisements. Make it stop. But here's my thing. Here's my problem with this comic book. The problem with these comics are, let me turn this up a little bit so that way to get rid of the glare. The problem with this comic is there's too much talking amongst the men. Men don't talk that much together, much less Batman. Batman's just never been that talkative. And like they have this part here where Batman and Superman are talking together. The S stands for hope. And then Batman says, the bat stands for a bat. He's like, oh, yeah, sure. And my thing is, somebody pointed this out to me too. You know who you are, you pointed out, but just like I was thinking, guys just don't talk to each other in the stall together like that when they're changing, especially if they're in the bathroom. If you're in a stall next to the guy, you're not going to talk to him. My father-in-law tries to talk to me when we're out in places like that, and we'll be like 3 or 4 stalls down from each other, and he'll say something to me, and I'm like, are you trying to talk to me right now? Because, people just don't do that, much less Batman. And he does put Batman in kind of some compromising situations that Batman just wouldn't put himself in. But I did catch this part right here. Notice how beat up Batman is. He did remember at least to draw him with like a bunch of scars and stuff, because he is Batman. He's always getting beat up. Then there's Lois Lane. But anyway, moving on. But my thing is, this has been fun. It's been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. It's time to move on to other things. So I'm glad to hear that he's going to be changing things up. My only downside with this artwork is they use a lot of the same images over and over and over. And I don't like that because it's lazy. Because, this image is the same as this image. This image is the same as this image. This image is the same as that image. You know what I mean? And it goes on for a couple of times now. There it is again. You're using the same images. And I know you put this little stuff in here and you got different dialogue, but it's just a little So, it's been real. It's been fun. Time to change it up. Time to do things differently. Time to get it going. We're ready for Batman to start detecting again. We're ready for Superman to start pounding heads in. And all in all though, it's been a fun comic. I enjoyed it. Tom King is kind of an SJW, and he's kind of a submissive dude. He's kind of a soy boy. He likes more submissive men, and he likes more take charge women. And so sometimes it can kind of get in the way, but if you only put him on a book for like 4 or 5 issues, he can do something really good like he's done with this run on Batman so far. Now, when it comes to Mr. Miracle, that's a completely different subject, because he writes Mr. Miracle like a depressed, low testosterone soy boy, and that's a little upsetting. But he still manages to do Batman justice, because if you've been reading the other issues, there's a couple of scenes where Batman is sitting there doing his detecting work, and Catwoman just starts crawling all over him in his chair, and he's just sitting there like a boss, not even acknowledging it. So he does realize how to do Batman to where he's still awesome Batman, and he's able to write Superman to where he's still kind of that Kansas boy, but at the same time a superhero. So I'll give that up to him. And he does really well with the women. So obviously this is a guy that's had a lot of life things go on in his life. He's had relationships. He knows how people work. So I'll give that off to him. Definitely give this a read. It's kind of a pointless comic, but it's just fun at the same time. So give it a try, see what you guys think. All right, I hope you liked this video. I hope you don't hate this Batman too much, but I kind of like it. But it's time to move on, so I'm glad at 38 it's going to be different. I did order the Coipel cover for this, the variant, and I also am going to get the Coipel cover for the next issue. But I think that he's also doing Wonder Woman for Batman and Wonder Woman cover for like issue 40. So I may have to get that too. But all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please support me on my Maker support. And also, I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow night. It's the He-Man Woman Haters live stream. It's going to be a bunch of dudes talking about comics. So I hope you like it, and I hope you'll tune in. It's 8 p.m. Central. 8 p.m. Central time. So I'll talk to you guys later. Underground Geek out.